What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is always an exciting video every year. I want to show you exactly how I rigged out my Phoenix 21 PHX with all my electronics. You know, I spend a lot of time on the water looking at my electronics each year, and I kind of figure out what I like, and each year my boat gets a little bit better and a little bit more dialed in for how I like to fish. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. So that's all coming up. All of these electronics are available at bassfishingelectronics.com. You know, they got a great inventory of all the products you might need, you know, whether it's Lowrance, HumminBird, Garmin. Even got their own brand of stuff with the transducer mounts, the neoprene covers, neoprene rod sleeves, 360 stabilizers, 360 mounts for Lowrance, ghost trolling motors, so many different options. So head on over bassfishingelectronics.com and check those out. So we're going to start right here. This is my workspace. This is the console of the boat. You know, I spend a lot of time sitting here idling around with that Mercury looking at all these screens. And this is where I find the fish. You know, I'm sitting here, I'm looking for bait, looking for fish, looking for brush, structure, rock, all that kind of stuff with these guys right here. So I got two Lowrance HDS 12 lives, and then I added this guy right here. This is a HumminBird Helix 10 off to the side, just for Lake Master mapping. You know, I've run a tablet in the past with Lake Master on there, but I just went with a unit. It shows up better when you're out in the sun and the glare. The screen on a tablet doesn't quite work outdoors as well as a unit. So I just hung a Helix 10 off the side for all my Lake Master needs. This guy right here is the one that finds all the fish. You know, this is my side imaging, my down imaging, and my sonar all on this guy. And this one on the left here is my navionics mapping and all my waypoint management. You know, the reason I like Lowrance is their waypoint management is amazing. You know, they got all the different symbols, so you can mark what's down there with different symbols. You know, I got a system that I use in the Lowrance that just makes a lot more sense, and I can take notes in there, so when I come back to a lake a couple years later, I can look at the notes and know exactly what's down there without having to jog my memory and you know, wasting time trying to figure out what it is again. So that's why I go with this. This guy right here is basically my computer on the water, where I can take a bunch of notes and manage all those waypoints very well. So this guy right here, let's head to the back. We have a active imaging 3-in-1 transducer mounted right here on the jack plate with this beautiful Bass Fishing Electronics mount. Mounts up on that transducer very well, mounts right to the jack plate, clean, neat, out of the way, no interference, and it's going to save that transducer, so you can run this boat in standing timber and you know, heavy cover, and that transducer is not going to get broke off. If you mount it to the boat, which I have in the past, underneath the jack plate, whenever you hit those types of things, the transducer usually ends up breaking off. So that mount right there saves you that. You're not going to break those transducers, and it looks nice and neat and clean and out of the way. All right, let's head to the front. All right, up here at the front, this is like my office. You know, this is where I come up and catch all the fish. This is where, you know, I'm up here standing, I'm staring down. Spend a lot of time staring at this. You know, I think I got a twitch in my neck from staring down at this big screen right here. But up front here, we got a Lowrance HDS 12 live, we got a HumminBird Helix 12, and we got a Garmin, don't even remember the model number, I think it's 8622. Can't quite remember what the model number of this is. I bought this a couple months ago. It's a 16-inch screen. You know, it's actually made for saltwater fishing, but it's got this big giant screen, and I'm running strictly Livescope on that big screen. You know, I spend so much time staring at the Livescope that I figured I wanted to get the biggest screen possible. Get that up here. Just helps you to paint a bigger picture. You know, you can really dial in how big the fish are better with this bigger screen, because the blob size changes based on how big the fish is. So once you get used to this big screen, you can actually tell how big the fish are. HumminBird Helix 12, that's strictly from Mega 360. We got this guy mounted right here on the trolling motor. We'll head over there in a second. That's for finding structure while I'm up here. You know, it's so efficient using that Mega 360. Drop my trolling motor down, and that's spinning in a whole circle in front of the boat, so I can look off to my left. There's brush pile right there. Throw over there with the Livescope. Hit that brush pile every single time, first cast. It's very simple. And then the Lowrance HDS 12 Live, as I was talking about the back, that's all my waypoint management. So I run that strictly map and a little bit of 2D sonar and down imaging as well, if I need that. Really don't use that a whole lot now that I have Livescope, but like I said, I need a map with all my waypoints, so that's why I have the Lowrance HDS 12 Live up front. All of three of these are mounted on this beautiful mount right here. This is the Trick mount from Trick Step. Spent a lot of time designing this mount, and this thing is sturdy. I think you could pick the boat up off the trailer using that mount. So it's through bolted to the deck. It's not going anywhere. We got it all tied up nice and neat in here. Really impressed with this mount, and it holds these big 3 graphs very solid. Heading over here, we do have another active imaging 3-in-1 transducer on the Bass Fishing Electronics mount. This is the trolling motor edition, so it's a little bit different than the one on the jack plate, but it mounts it nice and clean on the trolling motor. Garmin Livescope transducer, and of course you got your Humminbird Mega 360. Well guys, that's all the equipment. I did forget to mention, Weedas Marine rigged out this boat, and they did a phenomenal job. They ran dedicated power wires to each unit, Mega 360, pan optics, dedicated power wires from the battery all the way to the front. And it really helps those units perform the way they should. But I think let's get this boat in the water, and I'll show you how I set up my screens and how I use these units on the water. Let's go. All right, now we made it out on the water. We got all the units powered up. I can kind of show you exactly what I was talking about here. So like I was saying, this here is my main unit for navionics mapping and waypoint management. You know, what I really like about this Lowrance is, say we're here at Sam Rayburn, I can hit this waypoint right here, go to more options, and type in all these notes. Electronics, whoop, if I could spell, video. All that, I'm able to type in all the notes I want. If there's a big brush pile or grass or anything, I can type all that in there. You know, then you can come over here, and you got all these different symbol options, so you can change this, and you know, I use a different symbol for each type of structure that I see. You know, like this here I use for brush piles. You know, obviously you got some grass, you got some rock, you got different types of rock, you got a boulder, you got a house, all different symbols, and I utilize a lot of these for that purpose. It just helps me stay organized and keep all my stuff nice and neat. Over here, this one's the one that's doing all the finding. You know, I like to run my side imaging the whole width of the screen. That's going to be the dominant panel, because I'm looking 120 feet off to either side. Then I like a down imaging and a sonar. Okay, those two are for finding fish. Side imaging is generally for finding structure. And then over here we got my Lake Master mapping. You know, Lake Master is truly amazing on certain bodies of water. It's a definite must-have. So that's my setup here at the console. Once I find a couple fish, maybe I'll take you up front and show you the fish catching station up front. All right, now we're up here at the fishing station. let's see how I got these dialed in. I like to use that Lowrance on a little bit of map with my sonar and down imaging as well. Really don't use those a whole lot. Like I said, the Lowrance is mainly for waypoint management and just keeping track of my mapping up here. Humminbird Mega 360 on the right, Garmin Livescope on the top. You're able to watch your bait, see suspended fish, see bait fish, all that kind of stuff. So there is my electronics setup. It's dialed in. We got all the wires looking nice and neat thanks to this neoprene cover right here. That's a Bass Fishing Electronics. And that leads me to my next point, is all of these electronics are available at bassfishingelectronics.com. You know, they got a great inventory of all the products you might need, you know, whether it's Lowrance, Humminbird, Garmin. Even got their own brand of stuff with the transducer mounts, the neoprene covers, neoprene rod sleeves, 360 stabilizers, 360 mounts for Lowrance, ghost trolling motors, so many different options. So head on over bassfishingelectronics.com and check those out. But appreciate you guys watching this video of my electronic setup. I'm excited to put this to use this year and hopefully catch a few bass off of looking at these screens. Leave me any likes, comments down below. Let me know what you think of my setup, and we'll see you guys next time.
Oh,